Hey everyone, this is NFN Sungwaya Darorux from CSE335 Mobile App Development. This presentation is for the final project. My final project idea is called My Closet. I made this app because I'm a big clothing guy and I've yet to find an easy way to find clothes from your phone. Things like Google searches and online websites don't allow you to keep track or find new clothes in one singular place. My Closet makes it easier for anyone to find new clothing, save new clothing, and find stores near them or keep track of clothing they already have. The simple and clean UI design allows for a good user experience and ease of use. As you'll see in future slides, the design of the MVC architecture is simple as well, making the code easier to implement with UI elements and functionality. With the making of My Closet, I feel as though the clothing industry is lacking in a technological realm. I think it is stuck in the ideas of magazines and in-person stores. Hopefully with the creation of My Closet and the further development, it can inspire others in the clothing industry to take a step towards more utilization of software and technology. The use of more technology in clothing can lead to bigger and better ideas, creations, and inspirations in a field that isn't quote-unquote technological. But for now, as far as the class project is concerned, I'll walk through the ins and outs of My Closet, the capabilities and possible improvements that the app can take. Like I said earlier, the MVC architecture is simple, making the class diagram simple with only 6 classes and one core data entity, which is the clothing entity. The clothing entity contains name, brand, type of clothing, color, where you bought it from, and an image. Clothing objects make up the majority of the data, being passed in between the model, view, and the controller. The view controller class is more of a navigation panel, going to either the closet or the map view. Going to the closet view first, we are brought to a view that contains a table view that displays the clothing list stored in the core data. 2 buttons to add clothing, bringing up an alert controller to input the data and select an image using the image picker controller, and the Search Online button, which brings you to a search view. Clicking on a clothing object in the table view will bring you to that individual clothing object's view to see the details of the clothing item. Clicking on the Search Online button will bring you to another view where you can search for clothing or online stores that you're interested in. You type in the search bar your desired search and the app will open up Safari and search for what is in the search bar using an API call opening Safari. Going back to the main view controller, when you click on the map button, you are brought to a map view that displays your current location and the current temperature using a web API call. A user can change the type of map at the top using a segmented controller. A user can also search for clothing stores in the nearby area. This simple class diagram creates a flexible design which allows users to transition between views quickly. Overall, My Closet's class diagram implements the project's uses well and performs them efficiently. The MVC diagram is fairly simple as well. The controller at the top, handling actions through the model and the interactions with UI elements through the view, retrieves information, handles the web API calls in the map view and search view, and sends back info to the model in the view. It notifies the model of changes in core data such as added or deleted clothing, new locations, and new clothing attributes. With the view, it takes in the user actions and sends back updates to change the view in the environment. The model handles all the core data functions. It takes care of storage for clothing objects and clothing traits. It interacts with Google API and Web API when it needs to gather the information from the JSON files. The model updates in real time so that all information is current and allows the app to show current data. It also sends updates to the controller so that I can relay it to the view and display current info to allow for a quick response time and better user interaction. Lastly, the view handles all interaction with the user interface, relaying actions to the controller, displaying info and showing new elements when certain actions are taken. The view reacts to user interaction through UI elements, such as buttons or the clothing table view. It displays the new info it gets from the controller, such as new cells in the table view, new map locations, or info gathered from web API calls. It makes the UI look good and responsive for better user experience. The MVC diagram for My Closet creates an easy flow between controller, model, and view, and using only one entity for core data helps that flow as well. The class diagram and the MVC diagram show how simple, efficient, and easy to use MyCloset is. MyCloset has simple and efficient capabilities that make the user experience better. It takes care of all the project requirements such as core data, map view, table view, and web API calls, etc., but it also presents a new idea for the clothing industry. MyCloset is easy to use for a one-stop on clothing needs. It's sort of a hub for finding, sharing, and recording clothing. This app also has a broader capability. It can show tech people or clothing people that the gap can be bridged. MyCloset can add, delete, and view clothing objects from table view. It can store clothing in core data as well. The app can do an API call and open Safari to search for clothing in-app. MyCloset has a map view that shows the current location of the user and a search bar that allows the user to look for clothing or stores nearby. From the map view, the app also makes another web API call for the current weather at the current location of the user. The app has seamless segues passing data in between quickly. MyCloset is a simple tool for people who love clothing. In later versions, I want the capability list to expand and add capabilities that will increase user appreciation and present something new in the app world. Some limitations of MyCloset include robustness. The simplicity is desirable, but I'd like to add more user-to-user interaction in the future. Increase sharing acting like a social network for clothing. One idea that I'm not sure how to implement is 3D renderings of clothing or live moving images. I think it would add another aspect to a virtual closet that not many apps or websites have. One simple fix that I would like to implement is to go to search from the map view, but felt it was unnecessary for this version of the app. MyCloset has a long way to go in terms of accomplishing what I want from the development and impact, but right now it is a simple and useful tool for an overlooked aspect in buying clothing. There have been a ton of lessons learned from this project. I feel as though I learned more from this project than any other due to the independence of it, and being allowed to make whatever popped into my head at the time of brainstorming and development. Each step was pretty challenging, trying to find the ways to implement the different UI elements and functions together to make a cohesive piece of software. I learned about a different perspective of software development, something that you don't really learn from straight coding and that can be applied to computer science. I'm making something in the perspective of the user rather than programmer, which makes products way better. I learned a lot about the process of app development, and it made me find something fun in it. The design to the implementation then testing and looping back to implementation and fixing helped me see more into how apps are developed rather than being given a prompt and making it from scratch. I feel as though this project is extremely beneficial regardless of the current pandemic situation. I found something actually fun, and I learned a lot about app development and the process of it. I learned about a lot of new resources for app development. The pages in the canvas were really helpful trying to learn the basics. There were a lot of forums on how to do certain things such as table views and different implementations. I found a lot of cool APIs that weren't really relevant to my app right now, but I may use in the future. This project opened a lot of opportunities and a lot of possibilities for new projects. MyCloset was an old idea that I am able to implement due to this class and project that I am now more excited about. I want to actually make MyCloset into something bigger, and that means working more and finding new ways to make apps better, even if it means working into the summertime. I don't have any real suggestions, at least on the teacher side. I think with everything going on, I think this project was actually pretty awesome and was put on very well, and hopefully everyone did great. The project allowed for a lot of freedom in terms of requirements and what we got to do. I felt like I could do really whatever I want. The deadlines were pushed back constantly, so I never was working against the clock or felt pressured to rush or anything like that. I felt like I could do whatever I wanted as long as I had the small requirements. This project was really about what you made it, and I felt like I made it pretty beneficial and eye-opening. The only suggestion I have is for regular class assignments. I felt as though they were redundant with all the city tables, even though they were helpful for the final project. Thank you for listening, and thank you for looking into my final project. I am Sangwai Atarorox for CSE335 app development, and hope you enjoyed. Thank you. Have a good one.